Amy, Thug and Jason are cleaning a house right now, but they should be here at some point to at least drop off a check and say hi. Sorry about the tripod thing. I'm still trying to get everything set. Yeah, it's just a little early. It wasn't supposed to go live until 1, but I had to figure out how to actually make it go live, so I figured I'd come in a little bit earlier and just BS for a bit before we actually start. I'm very, very tired. Ice cream. Oh, and I may have to do a shot of coffee here in a minute. Sorry, I'm just staring at comments going by. I'm still kind of getting ready mentally. Oh, there's some of it. Do not unplug that. Thank you. What's up?
What's up?
Just went on a live.
Oh, right on.
How was it?
It was good. They had a little birthday party there or something.
Yeah.
Had some cake and cute kid stuff around. Yeah.
We'll probably on that landscaping wait until the 21st or after. I'll have a YouTube check coming in on the 21st, and I don't know what day that falls on, but it'll be
Monday, I think. We have an appointment. I think it's after Dawson brought us to go to.
okay.
I could be wrong. Let me double check.
Yeah, I want to wait till I get a little bit better boost of money. I finally had to just had Emily pay off her car. so,
okay.
So we had to reach into an account that I didn't want to reach into, but
21st is Carly Smith and Kelly Kepley.
oh, okay.
So I don't know what I'll be doing that day.
I think you're at Carly's that day. That's the one with the great
Oh, yeah,
knees.
yeah. That's right. She's new. That's right. Cute little baby. Okay, I'll see you later.
All right, later. Sorry, I'm vaping on here, but I'll do that off camera here in a minute once we get going. Sneak vape. That was Daniel. He just got off of a house, and then Jason and Adrian should be off of theirs here shortly. Man, we got people in here from everywhere. Romania and Greece, Brazil, Germany, Northern Illinois, which is its own country, Austria, damn, England, Norway, wow, Alaska. I'd like to visit there at some point. Ireland too. All right, I'm going to try to answer some questions real quick. I am more on the Asperger's side of autism. And I've seen you ask a couple times about hourly rates, so I want to explain that real quick. I don't do hourly rates because it creates a problem with customers and it creates a problem with employees. Employees tend to want to take more time to get paid more. The person who you're working for wants you to take less time so they can pay you less. So I do a flat rate, and my standard fee is $150 per house for an average size house. I consider anything to be 3 bedrooms and 1.5 baths to be average. And anything above that gets charged more. Anything below that rarely gets charged less. But I create a minimum charge, and we charge more than most housekeepers in our area. Most housekeepers in my area, are contracted single people who just clean houses for a living, and they don't know what to charge, so they charge way too little. They'll be like, I'll do $10 an hour or $15 an hour or whatever. We end up charging more because we do more and we supply all the equipment and we supply all of the chemicals, and I also have an employee overhead. And so my people will tend to spend anywhere from 3 to 4 hours in an average house, and we'll bring in $150 per house. They get paid a flat rate, a salary, even if they don't work. If somebody cancels, um, they still get paid for that day. And so in my area, hold on one sec, somebody's knocking. Hopefully that's my pants. Dakota, shut your dog beak. I'll pick up there in a minute. Quiet. No, I'm waiting on a delivery of some really awesome pants, and they're not here yet. So I'll tell you this. In my area, and I'm only talking about my area, if a housekeeper charges by the hour, they don't know what they're doing. If they're charging just a flat rate for a house, to me, that is more professional than charging by the hour. Also, that was not my pants. It was like a shirt from my wife. So yeah, anyway, I give my people a flat rate salary. If they get a cancellation, they still get paid. If they need a mental health day, they still get paid. If they need a vacation, they still get paid. They get paid vacations off. And so if I'm doing a flat rate and they're getting paid salary, they never have to worry about, am I going to be able to pay my rent this week or this month? And they never have to worry about, if there's a cancellation, how screwed am I? Because they're still going to get paid. Then the owner never has to worry about, or are they going to take too long and now I have to pay more because they spent 6 hours in here instead of 4. Excuse me. I'm kind of cloggy. But yeah, all that rambling is to say that I think that an hourly rate is a mistake. And if I was doing this in Chicago, I would compare what other housekeepers make first before I set my rate, and I would make mine slightly higher, not lower. That's the way I did this business, and that's the way it works out, because if we're supplying all the stuff and we have employees and things to cover, most people don't mind paying more, especially when there's such a bad split between supply and demand. So the number of people who want housekeepers far outweighs the number of actual housekeepers that there are. Yeah, Hannah, that's one of the reasons that I didn't give you a price for that. Was because I'd have to do a walkthrough to find out how much I'd charge for it. And Purple, there are no set amount of hours. If we clean until it's clean. Typically, they spend an average of about 3 hours in a house. Yeah, and even as an independent cleaner, if you use the same principles, you'll be able to make a pretty significant living on a flat rate. What I would do, and the way I built my business, was I did it on my own for almost, I'd say about 6 months. And then I got so many customers that I ended up hiring my son. Then so many I hired Daniel. Then so many after that I hired Adrian. And at this point, it's just a matter of how many employees do I want? How many houses do I want? And I can just keep building that over time. Yeah, if I do laundry in a house, I will automatically add on, say, like 25 bucks to the price. Most of the time, laundry's not included in what we do. I've had two houses where I've done laundry. What's up, Taz? Yeah, I also I do also organize. So that's one of the reasons that um, we charge what we charge. Also, Wolf, you're not late. Or Chess. I just started a little bit early. I don't charge for estimates, those are all free. I do train my employees to clean in a very specific way, but there's something that I learned a long time ago. Excuse me, man. I've got, it's not like I'm a cold or whatever, but I breathe too much dust in. I forgot what my train of thought was. What was the question? Oh, do I train my employees to clean in a specific way like I want? So I do, but I learned something years ago, and this is kind of funny. If you want efficiency, find your laziest employee and find out how they clean. And that's in any job because the laziest people will find the biggest shortcuts without sacrificing their quality. So you have to be on their ass about quality, on their butt about quality. But they can come up with methods of doing things faster because they don't want to put out the work. Um, what was the other thing that I learned? I learned any house that's won on price will be lost on price. So if somebody starts bartering with you about the cost, walk away. Anybody who, if I give them a price and they either act offended or they act like it's too much or they start to try to barter, I automatically end the conversation politely and just walk off. Say have a nice day. We're not a good fit. I don't have a checklist for employees, but I train them myself. I actually have them on my hip for like at least a month, if not two. How far north of my state am I willing to travel to clean? I only go a maximum of 30 miles out, and even that's kind of pushing it. Yeah, Yvette, I came in like 15 minutes early. I've got time, so I figured I'd just come in and goof off. I am still toying with the idea of doing yard work, but it would have to wait till next year at a minimum. I want to make sure this business is taken care of so that I don't spread myself out too thin and then end up in a situation where I can't manage both businesses. What major town is near me? There are none. Jordan, I do use external drives. I have two external 12 terabyte hard drives each that I use to store my backup videos, and I'm probably going to have to get another one soon. Yeah, I'm a big fan of yard videos too. I want to meet Al Blade so bad. How do I tackle built up grease and grime on kitchen counters and floor? Moved in with a friend and the kitchen hasn't been cleaned in 2 years. Man. Um, I would start out with Mr. Clean's Clean Freak. Spray it down, let it sit, use a scouring pad, and then keep doing that in layers until you get down to the surface. Then I would switch to like maybe a Lysol or just an APC. What's up, Dixie? Yeah, that sucks. paid somebody $200 ahead of time, can't get her to come and help you. Yeah, unfortunately, you're going to find people like that. Eliza, thank you. Oh, that's a good question, Menora. If somebody has allergies or sensitive, do you change your chemicals around to accommodate? I do. In fact, whenever I am quoting a house, there are certain things that I cover every time. One of them is I tell them right away that I'm high functioning autistic. I always say high functioning because it puts them at ease. Otherwise, they make assumptions that are weird. And so I tell them that if they're talking and I'm looking off, I said, I'm still listening. It's just a thing that I do. I don't make eye contact. The other thing I tell them is that my wife is a migraine getter and she's triggered by smells. So if there's ever a smell they don't like or causes them to have a headache, to let me know and I'll switch it out immediately. Otherwise, I tell them that there are two specific things that I use that typically don't trigger smell reactions, and then that's Clean Freak and APC. And then I tell them even if they don't like a smell, if they're not into lemon smell, for instance, I'll just switch to a different smelling thing. How do we contact you to give you our location? Oh, for like asking me to help? Probably just my email would be easiest, but I also have a Facebook that I use Messenger with. I'd prefer you not do stuff like that because it dings my phone, and I get to the point to where I have to like turn off my phone at night because I get so many messages. Email is probably the best, and that's in my about section. I never really mess with air purifiers. Once you clean, you don't even really need them. What's the nastiest thing I've ever found in a dirty house? That would probably be a dead raccoon. And then in this last house, I found a full family of dead mice that were fused to a bedspread. I haven't reached out to Clean the City yet, though I love his work. I'm sure we could get together to do something. He's really cool. Santa, thank you. 22.99. Thank you so much. And Linda for with $20. Thank you. Yeah, I don't work with ammonia at all. I hate ammonia. It works, but it's so terrible. How do you clean off soot off a brick above a fireplace? Honestly, Sandy, I would just go on YouTube and find a how-to video on that because I can only tell you what I would assume that I could use. Um, I would possibly use a hand brush or a drill brush bit and then use maybe dish soap to start it out and then possibly bleach after that. Lisa, hello. Welcome to the cult or weird cult. We'll get you your weird looking robe soon and then a weird haircut so you match all of us. Are the homeowners ever there when I clean? I get that a lot. By the way, one of my first girlfriend ever was named Billy Rose. um, are they ever there when I clean? Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. I prefer them to not be there, but I've worked with them there. That's not a problem, Debbie. Don't join things that you can't afford. That's unnecessary. The fact that you're here at all is very, very helpful. It makes me feel good as a person. I get this a lot about the minimalism. That's great for you. I am not a minimalist and never will be. I don't like it. I think it looks barren and lifeless. But that's just an aesthetic thing for me. And so I don't like rip on people who are minimalists, but I don't suggest that somebody go from clutter to minimalism because it's such a huge change of aesthetic that it can be like shock. So I agree that you've got so much less problems if you're a minimalist, and you don't have to deal with clutter. You just have to deal with cleaning. But I get a lot of people who kind of bag on these hoarders and say they should be minimalists. Anytime that somebody says you should be this, I don't think they thought it through. I don't think that's a good position to have in life about almost any subject, unless it's like racism. Like, you shouldn't be a racist. Like, that's an okay thing to say. But what's the grossest thing I saw when cleaning a home? That's from Don Lord. That would be the 4 foot stack of used adult diapers in the bathroom. I get all the time people telling me to, you should have used a shovel. And my response is always, have you ever tried to shovel a 4 foot tile of urine filled water balloons? Because that's what that would have been. And if the shovel pierces, thank you, Dango. Any tips on removing extremely caked on calcium on faucets? Yes. Um, Use Limeaway or CLR, or if you don't have access to those, cleaning vinegar, specifically cleaning vinegar because it's stronger. And then anything that doesn't dissolve off, either use a brush or use a razor scraper. But yeah, as far as those diapers go, I don't know if you've ever seen on the inside of an actual like baby's diaper, but they're little gel beads that absorb the moisture. And that's the same thing in an adult diaper. So if they get pierced, those gel beads spill out and they're all filled with urine. And now you've got a mess that's actually worse than the 4 foot pile of original diapers. No idea when I'll be in Wisconsin. I'll have to announce it whenever I get ready to start traveling. It's going to be a while. Also, thank you, Minda. And do I have a separate work and family life with my kids as employees? Yeah, kind of. There's a boss mode that I'm in when they're cleaning, but for the most part, we still act the same. We still make the same jokes, and we still, like, I'll take them out to eat. I take them out shopping for clothes. To me, I don't want this to ever feel like a job. I want it to feel like people who are helping me do a job. And so they're doing it with me and not for me. How many free cleans do I do? At least one per week. So at this point, I think I've done somewhere between 80 and 100 since the channel's been active. What's my most favorite house to clean? It's actually one that didn't appear on video. There was a house that's in a neighboring town. She had to get 3 of her grandkids because the daughter had gotten into some trouble, and the kids had major, not behavioral issues, but they'd never been trained to clean up or anything. One of them had fetal alcohol syndrome at age like 8, something like that. She still had those problems. So she still had even trouble like tying shoes and things like that. Um, that house was wrecked from front to finish. I took out dozens of trash bags, but in about 2 weeks, I had the house livable again. And then she hired me for weekly, and we got that house looking like a normal, perfect house by the time I was done with it. But that was really fun. That one, I did her laundry just to help out. Like, I didn't have her pay for it or anything. She just needed help. Uh, Gina, when do I think me and Barbie will work together? I'd like to, but she's getting ready to go back to Spain, and I can't really afford to get her here just yet. And I also have my wife to think about too. So if I had her come in here, it would be like her and her kids and probably her husband if he could come, and they'd have to stay at our house. And I don't know. I'd like to make that happen. Martin, thank you for the donation. And were you a fan of Mythbusters and Adam's YouTube? I am. I don't watch Adam's YouTube a lot, but I used to watch Mythbusters pretty religiously. Amy, that's a good question. Can you use just straight 20 or 70% alcohol for APC? Do you really need to add the Dawn? I add the Dawn because it becomes an emulsifier, and that's what breaks down grease and oil. And it adds a level to the APC that just straight alcohol doesn't have. And so you can use straight 70% if your goal is to sanitize. If your goal is to shine, I would just make it 30% alcohol and 70% water. A lot of times you don't need the full sanitization. You just want something to shine and clean up, in which case you can use much less alcohol. The animals are sleeping in random spots around the house right now. Yeah, it doesn't smell as good though. See, some people add essential oils to their APC, and that does work. But my wife gets triggered migraine wise. Why 70% and not 90% alcohol for APC? The only difference between those two is I use a lot of it. And so my thing is I can store, say, 5 bottles of 70% in my car, or I can make the same amount of APC with 3 bottles of 91%. And so I use the concentrated version that's 91% just to save space. And so I can make more of the APC. It's simply so I don't have to buy as many bottles and don't have to, more importantly, store as many bottles. If you only have 99% isopropyl alcohol, mix it 20% in a bottle and the 80% water to shine. And then if you are sanitizing, then fill it like 3/4 of the way or 2/3 of the way with alcohol and the rest with water. If I'm cleaning a dirty house and I need to go to the bathroom, sometimes I just grit my teeth and do it. But most of the time, this is really weird. I can work 10, 12 hours in a house, and as long as I'm working, I don't have to go to the bathroom. I can go all day. And then once I get home, I'm like, oh my God, I've definitely got to go. Yeah, tap water's okay for the mix of APC. No, thank you, spam. Thug should be here in just a bit. Or no, wait, we've already got paid for that house. They'll probably not be here. Hello, Amazonas. Amazonas. What kind of music am I into? Um, it's on a spectrum too. I do everything from metal to hip hop to pop to folk music. I'm not a big fan of country. There's like 2 country stars or bands that I like, George Strait and the Judds, but that's like a once a year thing. But I'll flip pretty seamlessly between Pantera and Slipknot and Kill Switch Engage to James Taylor and the Weepies and John Mayer. Yeah, Tool's good. I'm not a Trekkie, and in fact, I used to be a Star Wars guy, but I can't stand Star Wars anymore. It's just been hammered into my head so much that now I almost get angry when I see Star Wars stuff. Tenacious D is pretty awesome. What do I do when I'm not working? I'm always working. If I'm not working on a rare occasion, I'm flipping through TikTok. Thank you. Is it Marie? Yeah, Marie, thank you. Live in the East Central Oklahoma, and I need spin kicking. My home is clean and organized. Could you help me find someone to help in my area? I know absolutely no one in that area. I get that a lot. That's actually the most common thing that I get asked. Is I live in fill in the state, North Carolina. Do you know anybody who could help? And I get that at least 100 times a week, and I don't know any other cleaners, especially who does what I do. I don't know anybody who does what I do. What's up, Creativo? Catherine, thank you. Can that wood cleaner I use be used on cheap wood cabinets without causing damage? I'd use Pledge instead of wood oil. Next big clean. So this weekend we're having a large cookout for my mother-in-law who's moving from Illinois back to Minneapolis, and that's going to have all my kids, and Daniel will be here, and just anybody we can have along to cook way too much food for. So the only thing that I can do this week is I'm going to have to clean out my garage again. So I'm probably going to film it and then use this week's weekend video as more of like a vlog or a podcast sort of deal. So I'm going to have to come up with some really good subjects to discuss to make it interesting, but I don't think I'll have time to clean an actual house this week. I don't clean in Minneapolis. I'm in South Central Illinois, so I never go outside of my 30-mile radius, or rarely go outside of it. Now, if you lived in the area, you could definitely come over. Yeah, my favorite Kill Switch Engage song is In Due Time. What do I use to clean a barbecue? I spray it down with dish soap and hot water, and then I use a steel or a metal brush on it. Angela, thank you so much. Make sure there wasn't a question there. There we go. Yeah, so pitch, this is weird, but I'm considering making a 100% free cleaning business soon. And the all the funding would come from YouTube, TikTok, t-shirt sales, memberships, and whenever we do that, if we do it, I would need to start an online store that we could ship stuff out, because I've got a lot of people asking me to sell the stuff I use, and we're still working on it. So, but it's possible to make that. I don't have any recent drawings. I haven't touched a pencil in about 2 years plus. Ada, thank you. Thanks for seeing a great example of loving your neighbor. Thank you. And I am still dealing with social media. Thank you, Sandy. Um, I'm still overwhelmed by social media because I get hundreds of messages per day, every day, and so going through those is difficult. What's my favorite Tool song? Probably. Is it Prison Sex? Is that the name of it? Sarah Jane, thank you. I also like some Perfect Circle stuff too. Nina, thank you so much. That's a good question too. Um, so one, I am considering doing a training teaching video soon. And when I get overstimulated, how do I calm down and get my brain back together? First, Lisa, thank you for the 20. That's very kind. And two, I take frequent breaks and I basically sit out of my car and grab something to drink and hit my vape and just chill for as long as my body will let me, and then I jump back in. Usually my body lets me chill for about 5 minutes, maybe 10 at the most. But TA, thank you. Or Ta. Thank you, Ta. Will we see more videos? Yeah, always. Every week. Every Saturday, and then members get an extra one on Wednesday. Am I still interested in buying a building to move the business out of my house? Yes. That has to happen fairly soon, but I also have to have a little bit better funding than what I've got right now. Because what I'm dealing with is like I could have the funding to do it, but I also have to save money back for taxes, and taxes are going to be a freaking killer this year. Thank you, Joanne. Sneak vape. Blueberry. Oh, nice. I love when people clean along to my stuff. Chrissy, I had to hire an accountant because of the business. There's no way I could keep up with it. At some point, I will likely hire a manager, and then the manager would be required to do accounting. They'd have to be adept in accounting. What would I suggest for a horde of papers to shred? I have a lot of people who tell me that you can go to Staples and they've got a paper shredding service that they do, but we don't have anything like that. So I would just buy a paper shredder. Talking smack is my favorite thing. Yeah, I'm well aware of what tax write offs and stuff are. I've been doing business for years and years, decades actually. Cleo, thank you. I will have a great day right in your face. I don't mind scrub daddies and scrub mommies. They're just way too expensive for what you get out of them. Who was that asked that? Encrypt. Um, Let me pose a situation to you. Have you ever been in school and you're leaning back on a chair and then you kind of lean back a little bit too far and you know you're going to fall over, but you catch yourself just in time? And that jolt of adrenaline that hits you whenever you catch yourself, if you're starting to throw things away and you get that, you're probably a hoarder. It doesn't have to be that powerful, but there's an anxiety that comes with throwing things away that that regular people don't get. Instead of scrub daddies, Howling Wolf, thank you. What's up, buddy? I There are some cheap green scouring pads. They're green scouring on one side and sponge on the other. Extremely cheap, and they do just as good of a job as a any of the scrub daddies. Thank you, Shelby. Burning is fun. That's kind of our motto. I can't get a hold of Blades. I'll send him one more email today, and then I'll have to call it quits. Like I can't, or no, I remember what it was. He doesn't publicize his email, so I can't get a hold of him. All I can do is comment on his videos. But I saw you cut your thumb last night. It sounded pretty severe, man. Like more than just a cut. When cleaning your closet seems overwhelming, yeah, I do have some advice. Thank you, Patricia. Um, whether it sucks or not, get everything out of it. Just start pulling things out and force yourself into a situation where you have to go through it and you have to put it back in. So then what happens is you're like, there's no way I can fit all this crap back in this closet. So let me get rid of half of it. Um, and then it forces you to not only get rid of stuff, but it forces you to into progress or screw up the room that you just decided to clean in. I get the microfiber cloths from Walmart or Amazon. Yeah, Taz, I love them. They're my favorite things to clean with. Feed and wax versus liquid gold. I mean, they're two completely separate purposes. So feed and wax is great on floors. Liquid gold is great for furniture. Thank you, Erica. How you been? How did I receive my autistic diagnosis? I was having panic attacks, and I spoke to a psychiatrist, and then we just got into a long conversation. And he said, I believe you're on the spectrum. And then we had longer conversations, and he said, yeah, you're definitely on the spectrum. Amy, that's the way I like doing mine. In fact, mine is like over the course of a couple months. If I don't wear them, or I start to go, I kind of like it, kind of don't, then those go too. Yeah, I wish there was a way. Peggy, thank you. So glad for your compassion with people. I'm now cleaning my windows with microfiber and love the instant gratification. Yeah, I like it too. It's the ultrafine microfiber is what I really got turned on to for the streak-free part of it. Yeah, I want to do a collab with Barbie mainly so I can get a picture beside her because I'm 6'4" and she's 5 feet. Yvette, I got started cleaning because I was doing it anyway, and I like doing it. So I just was like, I wonder if I can finally break free of working for other people and just start this business. So I'm working for myself, and it turned out to work. Hello, Wendelin. Yeah, I mean, she would be like maybe here on me. I would be 1 foot 4 inches taller than her. Dixie, thank you. Oh, nice, Mary. Which ones did you get? Yeah, that's weird, Dango, because the testing for that is really just a conversation. Hoarder houses often smell like old trash, but not in a way. It's not like that sour trash smell. It's more like going to a city dump because it's old decomposed trash. It's been decomposing for a long time. So it's a very musty old trash smell. Gotta get me some tea. My favorite food today would probably be barbecued pulled pork, which is what I made last night. I slow cooked it last night for about 6 hours, and then I used Masterpiece barbecue, and it is really good. Forbidden. I dated a woman who was 4'11" once, and it was hilarious. She got mad because one time I picked her up like under the armpits, the way you'd pick up like a toddler, and kissed her and then put her back down, and she was so mad. It's the only time I've ever seen her mad. Fairy, yes, you can have a shout out for joining. I saw you join just a little bit ago. Fairy Vixen Gaming, etc. Welcome to our weird cult. MMC Cookbook. I've considered it. How many rags do I go through in a video, and how do I clean them when I'm done? That's a question I get a lot. On the hoarder house, when we did the last one where we did the kitchen, I went through at least 50, if not close to 100. I wash those in pure hot water, 2 cycles with Tide. And then I usually, if there's a problem with bugs, I will dry them twice, but if not, I'll dry them once. Do I clean all the houses on a schedule? Typically, yeah, I try to. Otherwise, it gets too chaotic. Ever run across a snake during a clean? No, but I run across them in my yard all the time. We have rat snakes here. They're very long black snakes. They can get like 6+ feet long. They're not harmful though. They just eat rats. Bi-weekly means every other week. Yeah, Catherine, that was the same with me and the one girlfriend. What's up, Jody? Yeah, I had to call animal control one time because we had one that was about 6.5 feet long. It was huge. And I told them, I said, it's in our yard. Our neighbors are elderly. I can't get to this snake. I need somebody to come and get it and relocate it. And they wouldn't because it's a small town and the person who was operating the phone was a douchebag. And she was like, just leave it out there. It'll eat rodents. And I'm like, no, it can eat cats. Like it's that big. I would rather it not ingest one of our pets. So I need somebody to come out and get this. It's like, hey, you're being paid for animal control, so why don't you come control animals, please, or send someone who can? Like your job isn't phone answerer and snake denier. Like if your job is snake denier, you're doing excellent at what you were paid for. Animal control, how can I deny your snake today? Do you have a snake that needs denied? Snake apologist. Emily is getting a massage. She has problems with her legs. And then she is going to take a picture by an old phone booth that's like 40 miles away from us. I don't know, man. I have no idea, but she evidently is. So I tolerate lobster. I can't say I love lobster. It's just a thing. If I'm at Red Lobster, I'll order a lobster tail, but I mainly like just the fish. Back up because I saw a question I get a lot. How do I choose which homes to clean when I get multiple requests at a time? It's kind of a first come, first serve thing, and I clean the ones that need the help the most. So I have one house that's about 90 miles away from here, and they are in a dire situation where there's a chance he could be put in a home and the house could be seized by the local government. That one's on my priority list. Man, I used to like Red Lobster, but the last couple times we've gone, which is rare, they've been terrible. Their shrimp is okay, but their fish sucks. Secrets for daily maintenance of a home. Here's what list I made for Emily because she's got ADHD and like it's her half of the relationship is the house because I let her quit her job and I just do all the finances. I do most of the stuff in the house, and then Emily just has to keep up with basic maintenance. Dishes every day, no matter what. Vacuum the middle floor of our house, which is the main floor of our house, every day because we have three cats and a dog, and do the counters. Then once a week, vacuum the whole house. And then once a month, do all the windows. If you can keep on a schedule like that, then all the main parts of your house should be good. Dusting just kind of as needed. Do I make my bed every day? No. If it was just me and I was single, then I would because it's a part of my routine. But we just throw off the covers and go because we have a split level mid-century modern house, which means that you enter on a main level, then the house splits off this way for bedrooms and this way for a den, which we had turned into a bedroom. And our bedroom is the downstairs, and so it's way out of view. Nobody ever sees it. Are you strange to watch me clean? No, I literally made the channel so I could watch it. I don't play Stardew Valley anymore, mainly because the only goal I had left in that game was to make $1 billion, and I think I had gotten up to like 750 million, and it was just the same thing over and over again. So, what comedy shows do I like to watch? Hot Rod and Pop Star Never Stop, Never Stopping are the two funniest movies I've ever seen. Um, Otherwise, I like occasionally Bill Burr. I like Kids in the Hall, Monty Python, Mystery Science Theater 3000, those old school shows. And I like What We Do in the Shadows, both the New Zealand version and the US version. I like weird comedy. I didn't say a name today, Melissa. I'll have to think of one here in a bit. What's up, Dakota? Are you worn out from all that nothing you've been doing all day? I forgot about the Burbs. That was a good movie. It was way underrated. My wife and I have a weird schedule. I hardly ever watch actual TV. Yeah, I'll show Dakota here in a minute. I watch YouTube a lot, like obsessively, And so a part of it is because I like what I find on YouTube, but the other is I want to learn from YouTube and make just a really good channel. Um, Late at night, I have, and my wife has adopted a very specific schedule. We get in bed around 8:30, not to go to bed, but just to stretch out. I feed the fish, then I put on Judge Judy, and I will watch Judge Judy until I'm caught up. Then we'll switch to Post 10 and watch Post 10 until we're caught up, and then Northeast Outdoors or Post 10's second channel if he's got anything new. Then we switch to Cops and we watch old episodes of Cops. And I just wait for a Taser episode. It's like, come on, Taser, man. Somebody's got to get Tasered today. I've also got, I'll have to pull up my channel here in a minute to, you know what? I'll do that. Not my channel, but I'm going to pull up my account and I'm going to give you guys a list of the things we're subscribed to. So in case you ever get bored and you need new channels to watch, I'll give you some really good ones. Oh. Yeah, it's actually hard to get diagnosed as autistic because it's such a generalized condition. All right, pulling up subscriptions now, and I'm going to give them to you in order alphabetically. All right, you ready for this? I've got A&E, which is just a channel in the States, and the only reason I've got that is because of the Hoarders show. They've got a bunch of Hoarder shows. Then we have Al Blades, who is a lawnmower guy, and I want to meet him really, really bad. Anton Petrov, he is, I believe, Russian, and he is really good at reporting space news and physics news. Ari Katerina, you know who she is. Biffa plays indie games. He is a British guy who plays like city skylines and stuff like that, but he's super adorable. You never see him, but his voice is adorable. Clean with Barbie, you guys know her, which reminds me I've got her last video to watch. Cops TV, which is episodes of Cops. This one I'd really like you guys to go into just because I think it would be funny to see one of his videos flooded out in the comments with people from Midwest Magic Cleaning. His name is Cromulent Archer, and he plays video games like Zomboid, or Project Zomboid, and RimWorld, and some games that you kind of have to be a hardcore gamer in order to get. But it's his personality that drives the channel. He is very polite and has the most soothing voice you've ever heard. But his name is Cromulent Archer. And if you could go into one of his videos, even the last one he did, and just say hi from Midwest Magic Cleaning, that would be hilarious. To see like 1,000 people go in there. Daily Dose of Internet. We just kind of catch up on him every once in a while. Here, I'll spell it one sec. Shit, I can't comment on my own thing. Cromulent, I'll spell it out loud. CROMULENT. And then Archer is ARCHER. Cromulent Archer. After that, one of my favorite channels of all time is Epic Upcycling. He takes like pallets and old crappy wood and makes incredible furniture out of it. I'll give you more channels here in a second. I don't want to overload you. And also Sneak Vape. Okay. Going back. Wait, what the hell? Okay. Okay, we've done epic upcycling. I'm almost done with this list. I won't bore you with a long list of stuff, but I just want people ask me all the time what I watch, so I'm telling you exactly what I watch. The next one is called Flipping Drawers, one word, and it's the same thing where they take old crappy furniture and they flip it into something awesome. The weirdest thing that we watch outside of Post 10 is a guy named Gavin Weber, Gavin Weber, Gavin Weber. He makes cheese. He's a guy out of Australia. And his group of people who watch, he calls curd nerds. And he just makes homemade cheese. That's all he does. I Hustle, Lawn Guy, Judge Judy. I watch Let's Game It Out. That's probably one of the most popular gaming channels on all of YouTube, and it's one of the funniest channels I've ever seen. Life's a Glitch TV. That is two guys who shoutcast StarCraft 2 games, and they're very funny. Two funny Canadians. Modern Makeovers. That's another furniture one. Mountain Rug Cleaning. Most of you know that one. Just a guy who cleans really crappy rugs. Mowing with Steve. New England Wildlife. That's Post 10's second channel. Post 10. Post 10 Vlogs and Extras. SB Mowing. I've been trying forever to get in contact with him and he won't answer. Taskmaster. If you don't know what Taskmaster is, you are a piece of crap. I'm sorry, you're not a piece of crap. Um, you just need to be introduced to Taskmaster. The Boring Channel, that's Lawn Care Juggernaut. Detail Geek. Therm, another gaming channel, very funny, adorable person. Top Fives and Unusual Videos. That's our whole list of subscribed stuff. There's a lot more that I have on one of my other channels, my personal channel, because that's ones I've got a lot more cleaning stuff on, like, you know, A Beautiful Mess and um, oh darn it. Well, there's a list of like all the ones I'm subscribed to on the About section of this channel. Okay, sorry to bore you all with that, but yeah, Boring Channel, that's another one I'm subscribed to. Oh, oh, thank you. I only got it because I like this symbol. I know it's horseshoes and it's made for like horse riders, but to me it looks like a biohazard symbol, which is why I got it. What's up, Suze Mart? Yeah, Barbie's awesome. Yes, the main demographics of people who watch my YouTube videos are 89% women from the ages of around mid 20s to mid 70s. The majority of the people who watch my videos are around late 20s to mid 30s women. I'd say about 70% of the audience is that. 89% of the entire audience is women. Yeah, and it fluctuates too. So it's gone up as high as like 92% women. Sneak vape. Yeah, Barbie's videos are a little bit different, which I'm glad. I'm glad it's not like mine, and I'm glad we're not like Ari Katarina. Otherwise, it would just be us copying each other's channels. So Ari Katarina is good for whenever you want to see a bunch of trash removed, but not hoarding. Some of it's hoarding, but I mean, it's mostly trash and severe ADHD and depression. And hers is about making things look new again. And she can do that because she works with a lot of tile and metal and houses that haven't been destroyed by the trash. So you can make those look new again. Barbie deals with inner city apartments that have been destroyed from hoarding and trash, and you can never make those look new again because um, the makeup of the house has actually been damaged beyond ever being clean again. You would have to replace those stuff. I deal with true hoarding, so I have to deal with organization and finding ways to get rid of stuff and stack the stuff we're going to keep. But I'm dealing with a lot of stuff that can't be thrown out. So they're completely different channels. So I'll see people giving Barbie crap and saying Ari Katarina is better. And it's like, dude, that's a totally different thing that's happening between these two videos. Yeah, Barbie deals with some truly nightmarish stuff. Oh, yeah, you guys said you wanted to see Dakota. What's up, Dakota? She's got, if I can find it, purple tail. What are you doing? What are you doing, Dakota? Lay there and do nothing. Good dog. Lay there some more. Good girl. I trained her to do that. Yeah, Fairy, we get that all the time. I've banned close to 1,000 people. I ban at least 2 people a day. Most days I ban around 10. So whenever people come in and say that my community is really nice and supportive and all that, it's that way because I get rid of dickheads. And I spend a massive amount of time banning people because they come in. Who asked that? Christine, why ban? Because I don't put up with trolls and I don't want them toxifying my channel. It's different if they've got a disagreement with what I'm doing. That's fine. But the people that I ban are jerks who like to come in and call the people that I'm helping lazy or pieces of shit. Sorry for the curse word, but that's what they use. Um, they like to blame people for the situations that they're in instead of, and that to me is the way a child thinks. And I'm not putting up with children in my comments. Oh, thank you. The moon, I drew that for Emily years ago. I try not to, Fairy. In my everyday life, I cuss like a sailor. But I try not to on YouTube because I got a lot of people who find it disrespectful, so I try to respect them. Joanne, thank you. I now use Barkeeper's Friend products because of you, and they're all great products. Thanks for the tip. Cute dog, too. She's a piece of crap, my dog. I say that in front of Emily all the time. She's like, no, you're not a piece of crap. But yeah, Barkeepers was a thing that my viewers turned me on to. I'd heard about it for years, but I'd never tried it, and I always used Comet. And they're like, no, just try it once just to see. And I tried it and love it and switched to it. Kitty Cat, thank you. Welcome to our cult. Laura, I get that a lot. Hoarders who are dealing with cancer, it's one of the triggers. Yeah, level 9 hoarder houses are typically the most hazard because they're tripping hazards and there's almost always um, mouse poop and mouse pee underneath it all, which is a danger for hantavirus. Filth is doing good. He's been cleaning regular houses lately. Oh, that's a good question there. Me loves music 21. Besides cleaning products, shopping bags, and coins, what do people commonly hoard? Mail is the number one. Mail and newspapers and magazines, they just don't throw them away. Books are another big one. Dishes are always a huge one. What happens is they dirty up all their dishes, it becomes overwhelming, and um, they don't do the dishes, and then they just buy more dishes. They have a family and they've got enough dishes to use for say 5 or 6 people. Then the kids grow up and move out, and that now they've either got 1 or 2 people in the house, and but they've got enough people to feed an entire family. Patricia, thank you. So dishes are another one. Shoes are another one. I have far more women hoarders than men. And the women typically hoard clothes like crazy. Like you can fill entire rooms with nothing but clothes and shoes and purses, lots and lots of purses. Guys almost always hoard electronics, especially like obsolete, useless electronics. I'm doing good, Lisa. Thank you. Yeah, I would suggest, Yvette, reevaluate your dishes like once a year, once every 6 months. Just kind of look at it and say, what do I, not just what I need, what do I need plus a tiny bit extra? If I had Thanksgiving today, how many dishes would I need to accommodate everybody? And that's the most dishes I would keep, because Thanksgiving is a pretty good measuring stick. Or if you're in a place that doesn't have Thanksgiving in another country, think about whatever the biggest holiday is that you celebrate, Christmas or whatever. Um, if you can't, if you can accommodate everybody with this specific amount of dishes, everything over that get rid of. Peyton, thank you. I wish you could Barbie with making channel grow. Oh yeah. So Peyton, I that's one of the reasons that I try to mention her in videos occasionally, is to try to boost her viewer count. She needs to be way more famous and successful than she is. She's already doing good, but she really needs to be up there. Lindsay, I don't argue with people who won't budge. Um, if they've got some things that I think they can get rid of, I will try to calmly um, explain why it needs to go. And there's very few times where I'll just say you don't have a choice in the matter this is going. So on the last house that I did, for instance, I didn't say there's no choice, but like there was a bedspread or a comforter that had a family of dead mice embedded into it. They had decomposed into the fabric. And that one I didn't even ask her. I just wadded it up, walked through the house with it over my head and said, "Smell alert coming through, just so you know." And then I just went out and threw it away without permission. She asked about it because she was concerned that it would have been a quilt that she had made. And I was like, no, it's just a Walmart bedspread. It had to go. It had dead mice embedded into it. Like there's no choice there. And Smiley, um, in your case, I want to be perfectly honest with you. You may have to grit your teeth and say you don't have a choice. You may have to say, this is my house. Um, we're not going to live like this. And starting today, I'm getting rid of some stuff. And sometimes the really harsh, tough, painful way to deal with it is the only way you can deal with it. If you're in control of the house, you have to be in control of its contents. And it's hard and it sucks, but allowing it to happen in order to avoid the conflict needs therapy and a lot of extra intervention. that a lot of people aren't prepared for because it's scary to get into that conflict. I hate spin mops because there's a little plastic triangle on the top. It looks like a little Superman triangle, like that, like this. And the part of the triangle on the plastic flips and scrapes the floor. And it's tiny too, so it's not really useful for anything more than just like one room mopping. But Megumi, thank you. Welcome to the cult. But yeah, it scrapes the floor. I just don't like it. Do I like a squeegee mop? Not really. I like just a regular old wooden handled mop. Donna Cooper, this is something I want to read out loud because this is important. I put my foot down with my brother and he died 3 months later. That is common. It's why you have to have therapy. Um, in conjunction with this, you have to have a professional with you, because this has to be treated as like a really emergency situation because it's not just affecting them, it's affecting you, it's affecting everybody around them. Jesus, thank you for a new Tyvek suit. I will buy one of those. Thank you so much. That's a $50 donation. That's very kind of you. But it is common where you can go in and clean somebody's house, especially without their permission. And if they are a severe hoarder, they could sincerely commit suicide because of it. And it's happened a lot. And there's been some people who, after the hoard has been cleaned up, have just given up and passed. Like that's super common. Or it's not super common, but it happens enough to where it is a thing. So I would always suggest having professionals there to help through the process. Cheryl, thank you. Barbie hates spiders, so do I. Love from across the pond, England. I am not a fan of spiders either. I'm not afraid of many things, but spiders creep me out because they're jerks, pieces of crap with their legs and their eyes and their fur, their spider fur. Catherine, that happened a lot in my family too, where one person keeps everything and somebody else keeps nothing. When my mom passed, we took out 5 truckloads of adult diapers that were just hoarded, not used, just it's still in the packages. Yeah, we have brown recluse here too. Those are nothing to mess with. Sneak vape. Blueberry. Um, do I remember what started my love of cleaning? That's always been embedded. That's just been the autism. I mentioned it in other lives, but I see rooms like a jigsaw puzzle. So doing this for me is more like a game than it is a chore. Sturgis. What's up, Sharon? The moon on the wall, that's something I drew for my wife a few years ago. I guess there are people in here who haven't seen what I do with charcoal. I'll show you. Let me get this out of here without killing the live. Let me flip the camera around. All right, this is what I used to do with charcoal. That's one of her old cats. Alexa, good night. So that will go into its eyes, or his eyes. This is her and my daughter on, trying to get this where there's no reflections on it. This is her and my daughter on our wedding day. This is one I did of Dakota. That looks weird on camera. It's actually much more detailed in real life. Go into her eyes there. And then the moon one. Invar, thank you. But yeah, that's all charcoal. Every crater on this is actually anatomically where it's supposed to be. Get flipped. Ah, just tripped over my cord. Go back to my chair here real quick. Yeah, I drew those. I started drawing when I was like 2 years old. I'm 49 now. And my medium that I like is charcoal. Most of what you just saw there was done with charcoal pencils and Q-tips. You use Q-tips to thin and spread out the charcoal to make. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to stop doing this. There we go. Use the charcoal to make gradients, or the Q-tips to make gradients, the charcoal to make details. They're also not the most realistic things I've drawn. I've drawn actually way more photographic stuff than that. No, it's not something I'm going to pick up again. It's something I picked up as part of my autism when I was 2. I got good at it, and then I got bored with it, and now I don't like drawing. I apologize. I'm about to say the A word. Alexa, living room. I'm so sorry for everybody's dots that just went off. Frankie, what are you doing, buddy? Come here and say hi. How common is it for the children of hoarders to be hoarders? Very common. There's actually a genetic factor to it. And then whenever you add in hoarding disorder as a genetic factor, plus the environmental training of living in a hoard, you're far, far, far more likely to continue that process. Nice. How did I meet my wife? We met online many, many years ago. Yes, pack rats are what they used to call them in the 80s. My back is still a little bit sore, but it's getting better. I will, at some point, I've got a folder with all my art in it, not physical art, but photographs of them. I'll put them on somewhere, maybe an Instagram or something like that, and let everybody see it. What's up, Brandy? Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Thriller. That's an original, too. It's not a reprint. My shoulders, I don't think will ever heal all the way. Uh, Editing software do I use for my videos, and to use a laptop or desktop? I have to use a desktop because the videos that I do are 4K at 60 frames a second, and they are very large. Most of my videos, even after editing, are anywhere from 30 to 40 gigs. And so I use a Starforge Creator Elite, and it is about as good as you can get for a computer. I use Adobe Premiere Pro to edit, and I will likely end up trying to switch to DaVinci Resolve soon, just to see what it's like. Um, Roblox, you don't have to use 91% alcohol. You can use straight 70% with no water. The reason I use 90% is because I use a lot of it, so it's better for me to mix it. And if you're just shining and not sanitizing, you can use less alcohol than that. You can use like 30% alcohol and 70% water. Yeah, Cindy, we ran into that a lot too, where people pick through garbage and dumpster diving. Yeah, that's pretty severe hoarding. Yeah, most people swear by Da Vinci. I just haven't used it yet. I heard there's a bit of a learning curve to it though, and I'm super used to Premiere, and I haven't really had any problems with Premiere yet. You have a cleaning business cleaning houses weekdays and do hoard cleanups on the weekends. How do I not burn out? That's just a part of my autism. Like I constantly have to be doing something, and I thrive on routines. So cleaning over and over, that's a part of my routine. If I found illegal narcotics while cleaning, I have. I found meth spoons and needles, but that was only once. Am I going to start wearing company uniforms? At some point, yes. We're actually working on making uniforms now. When we make uniform shirts, I'm actually going to make those available for sale on the t-shirt shop or just by ourselves. So I think it'd be cool to have like a little MMC uniform shirt. Yeah, I struggle socially as an autistic person. Is it Eclipsa? Carolina, I gain and lose weight rapidly. It's always been a part of my metabolism. I will shoot. I mentioned I'm 6'4", which you have to know in order to understand my body weight. So I could be up to 230, 240, and it wouldn't look big on me. I mean, my face fills out at that weight, but I could be, say, 225 pounds, and you can't really tell that I'm bigger. And then I will go down to like 200 or 205, and I'll look super thin just because I'm so stretched out. But I'll fluctuate on weight like that a lot. I typically go down as low as 195 pounds and as high as about 235. Oh, yes, we have a suck it shirt already, Tammy. It's got a little crosswalk diamond with a guy vacuuming in the middle of it, and it says suck it underneath it. Marty, how did I become so knowledgeable about hoarding? I've studied it and have been interested in the subject since the 1990s. So I obsess about research whenever I get into a subject, and so I just study it like crazy. Drift, how do I select the homes I help with? I post on local Facebook groups and people come to me, and then it's kind of a first come, first serve sort of deal. Unless I get something that's really dire to where they're like, the state's going to take my dad's home or whatever, in which case I'll boost them up. Thank you, Diane. Oh, no, it wasn't to understand my mom. My mom wasn't what I'd call a hoarder. I had a lot of relatives who were hoarders and a lot of friends who were hoarders. It seems to permeate poverty, and we grew up really poor. No, nobody's ever been unhappy with a free cleaning. Hey, P. Scott, blow me. Thank you, Annalyn. I do like Steely Dan. What's my favorite thing to clean? Um, Whole kitchens. Melissa, I am 6'4". I'm assuming that's trolling because I mention it all the time. It's like the one special thing about me is I'm tall. No, I yes. Yeah, it's some reason the kitchen, it's like there's such a huge transformation that happens when before you clean it and after you clean it. Jenny, that is something that does happen. I see the tops of all refrigerators, and nobody cleans the top of their fridge, or they get it, but they can't quite get it all the way, so they can get like maybe half of it, and so I'll always see the tops of the fridges. Hold on one sec. I'm gonna have to take a break here in just a second. Feng Shui is something that I have talked to a few people about, um, which I may be incorporating some of that into my office design. Jane, thank you for $25. That was very nice of you. Okay, I think I'm caught up. I had to check out like a ton of stuff on here. And me loves music. Thank you. Is it Nalet? I don't know how to pronounce that. Nalita? Yeah, I'm going to take a break here in just a second. For those of you, if this is like your first live with me, sometimes I get overwhelmed with the amount of stuff that's coming up on the screen, and I have to step away for like 3 or 4 minutes, clear my head, and then I come right back and continue. My first free job was the one. I think it's called Free Cleaning for a Depressed Couple, and it's just got music and stuff in the background. But it wasn't that big of a transformation. I mean, it was a little bit. The first one that went viral was, I think, the one with the wood floors, and it says cleaning ruined. Um, Cleaning ruined hardwood floors or something like that. But the title made it sound like, God damn it. Sharon, thank you. There we go. Sharon, you're now a moderator, so if the trolls come in, yeah, Amy, I got rid of him or got rid of his comment. Sharon T's now a moderator. Where's Dixie at? Dixie George. There we go. Some reason it. Okay. Dixie, you're also now a moderator. So if we see trolls come in, you guys can help me get rid of these people. I don't get them often, but occasionally people are, pick me, pick me. Okay, I got to take a break for just a second. I'm going to leave this running and I'm just going to step out real quick, hit my vape, and clear my head. Ooh. I will probably add more mods, by the way. I just got to go through the list and find out who I want to add as mods and stuff, but I'll probably add more mods than this. Oh. Oh my god. I'm getting old. Okay. Wild Child, I clean up hoarder houses for free, and I have a dumb sense of humor, kind of a dark sense of humor. So I kind of, I don't know, weave in idiocy with helping people out, doing like, I don't know, some of the cleanings I've done, if we charge for, would be $10,000 to $20,000 to clean up, and I just do it without charging them anything. So suck it. What's up, Kim and Randy? Yeah, Cindy, it just kind of overwhelms me after a bit. What I do with $1 million, build a building and a big studio and open it up for people to come visit. Probably built a new house too while I was at it. Did I use ABC on my broom after poking Jason with it? Um, I just have to burn him after that, and burn the brooms. Thank you, Carol. It's finally getting long enough to where I can comb it. Yeah, I need to actually get a camera set up in my garage because it needs cleaned out really bad. Patricia, thank you. What are you doing? Peggy, thank you. When I'm with friends, I have to play with the phone every now and then just to get away for a minute or so. They finally get it. Yeah, you need something to take your mind away from it. It gets overwhelming after a bit. What are you doing? Hmm? Hold on one sec. Let's see if you can come up. Hold on. You're on the cord. Come here. There you go. Good girl. Come all the way up. All the way up. There you go. Now lay down. Thank you for ruining my black pants now. Yeah, you can ask silly questions. I'm not strict about things. I don't like people who blame hoarders for their situations, and I don't like people who give pick me energy. The look at me sort of things where they're just trolling to troll. Um, Normally I just ignore it. I don't care. But yeah, my favorite vacuum cleaner is a cheap one from Walmart, and it's the Hoover Power Drive Swivel XL. It's like $100, $110, and it's the best thing I've ever used for pet hair. It far outperforms any Shark I've ever used. The downside is that it's plastic, and so it can be easy to break if you move it around a lot in like cars and whatever, which I do. But most people won't ever have to worry about that because they're just using it at home. Terry, yeah, it's harder to clean pet houses. VH, I've used water vacuums. I don't like them. To me, they're scammy. They're way overpriced, and a lot of those. Keep your eye out on this. A lot of those are MLM scams. What they do is they say we'll give you a vacuum for X amount of dollars, and if you sell one for us, then we'll make it cheaper. And it's just a like a pyramid type scheme. Dysons are okay. I don't love them and I don't hate them. They're decent. Linda, what's up? You got more sores on you. She's getting what's called hot spots. Dakota is, and it's the fur wears away and they get a little sore on them. But sharks are decent. I think they're overpriced for what they do. Fluffy, it's a Hoover Power Drive Swivel XL. Yeah, I'm not a fan of rainbows either. Cleaning solutions for cat pee on carpet, try vinegar first. A lot of times, vinegar will counteract the ammonia in pee. And then baking soda works well too. What are you doing? I have never been to Europe. Get up there. I'm going to be at some point, but it's going to be a while. Okay, she finally got down. My pants are now just covered in dog hair. I want to go to a couple places in Europe. I want to go to the UK. I want to go to um, Ireland, Scotland. Um, I just kind of want to go all over. I'm not into traveling either, and so that's going to be terrifying for me. But I just let my wife take care of the ins and outs of the actual traveling, and then I just follow wherever she's going. The best carpet shampooer that I've used has been a Bissell. I think they call it a Pet Pro or a Pet Max or something like that. It like heats the water itself, so you don't have to put hot water in it. In fact, they tell you not to because it can melt some of the plastic stuff in it. But it's super good with getting out stains, and it's super easy to use too. Okay. I straight up banned those guys, by the way. Don't just remove them. Just what you'll do is you'll click them and then hide user from channel. It's such a it's such a 12-year-old thing. The please look at me, please look at me. Is getting a spray mop worth it? Just stick with Swiffer. If you're already using Swiffer, they're fine. So I switch to Bona, and since they've got a microfiber bottom on them, they I don't know, they clean a little bit better than Swiffer, and you don't have to keep buying Swiffer pads with them. So you wash the microfiber bottom. Yeah, bags get hoarded a lot. That's actually something that happens in most hoarder houses. Never found a deceased person on the property. No. Yeah, not wanting to waste things is actually a big thing with hoarder thought process, but it's just super powerful in hoarders. The irony is that most of the things they're not wanting to waste just sit there and rot, and like they never get used. So, like, what's the difference between throwing it away and keeping it in your house and not using it? You're not really, I don't know. It's like you're still wasting it. It's just in your house rather than in a landfill. My back is hurting. Christopher, you gotta take me to meet Sarah Milliken because all people in Scotland know Sarah Milliken personally. Teresa, that happens a lot, and I wish more parents understood that whenever they die, their kids are throwing almost everything in that house straight in the trash. I don't think they quite get that what they're leaving them is not an inheritance, it's a burden, and it's making their lives more difficult. Yeah, exactly, Angie. Your house becomes the landfill. That's exactly right. Linda, I can lay in certain ways that help, but mainly, so I have to lean forward in order to see um, the chat on here, and that's actually what's making it hurt right now. We're going on 2 hours on the live, so I'll probably go for another 9 minutes or so until we hit 2 hours and then shut down and then go relax for a bit. Old windows with caked on gunk on the window sills or the window itself. If it's the window itself, I would use Mr. Clean to start. And if the gunk is really bad, use a razor scraper and then switch to APC. If it's the window sills, use your vacuum's hose attachment or oh darn it, a shop vac, and then switch to like a brush and then vacuum that stuff off too. I used to play Metal Gear back in the day. I also forgot that I have not taken my meds today. Whenever my brain starts to get fuzzy and I know what I want to say, but it won't come out of my mouth right, that's when I realize I haven't taken my meds. Ah, and I'm out of tea too. I'll be back in just a second. Let me refill my tea. Oh my gosh. Have I ever actually been sick doing a bad clean? So I get that question a lot too. I haven't been what I call sick, but if there's a place with a lot of dust, even wearing a mask, I can get really congested. And it feels like I've got a cold for a couple days afterwards. Eclipse, I kind of use what I have. So I try to use trash bags because they're easier, but if I run low on them or I need to pack stuff away, then boxes are really good for that. Whoops, crap. Dakota's doing well. I mean, she's starting to, I don't know, her back legs are having problems, and that's a progression of the disease she's got. By the way, even after this, once I get done with this live, I want to take a break for a little while, and then I will likely be on TikTok at some point tonight to do a small live there. I basically just hang out and BS on TikTok. Dakota is, we're thinking somewhere between 7 and 10. I think she's around, well, 7 to 8. Stain shower grout cleaning. Start out with Mr. Clean and a hand brush to get the oil off because showers, most people don't realize it, but oil comes off your skin when you're showering, and that makes a protective coating over everything and seals in dirt. So start out with that Mr. Clean and a brush. Then switch to either bleach or toilet cleaner with bleach. If that doesn't work, an acid based toilet cleaner may work. Um, and then, worst comes to worst, try maybe a little bit of hydrogen peroxide. That may do it too. But I found that scouring pads and brushes work really, really good, and scouring pads are actually better than brushes. It's just a lot more work. I will be coming down to Oklahoma at some point. I don't know when. Thank you, Patty. Sorry, I bit mine. I've been having trouble. My whole family has this thing that when the seasons start to change and shift, our hands and our fingers start to peel, especially by the cuticles, and then I start messing with them and mess up my hands. So my that part of my middle finger gets all like shredded, and I keep biting them, and I need to stop. This is interesting stuff that you need to know. My real name is Mac. M A. Deborah, thank you. I will put that to good use. Yeah, I'm in a little pain. It's okay. I mean, one of the meds that I just took, one of them's for anxiety and clears up my head, and then the other one is for pain. Like I have to take a small mild pain pill every day in the middle of the day, so it'll kick in here in a few. They call me Johnny the nickname Smith. Sneak vape. I forgot about the necromancer. That's so dumb. Kathy, thank you. Wish I was a hoarder so you'd come to my house. Well, don't start hoarding just so I come to your house, man. That beard is on fire. Let's put sings in quotes. There's one thing. Oh, yeah. So we were talking on one of the other lives um, about weird things that happen with with my autism. Like, so for instance, I can't tell distances. If you told me my tree outside was 60 feet tall or 100 feet tall, it would mean the same thing to me. And if you tell me something is the size of a football field, that means nothing to me. I can't picture it in my head. And I can't do a comparison unless I'm right there. So, one of the other things that I do as a result of my autism is I use me and I statements a lot. And it comes off like I'm trying to take over a conversation and make it about myself, but that's never been the case. Anytime when I'm talking to somebody and they'll say, you know, I had a bad week this week, I did this, and I did this, I will say something similar that happened to me in an effort to connect with them to let them know that I know where they're coming from. But I recently realized that a lot of people take that as um, me trying to make the conversation about myself. I didn't understand that. And so I'm trying to retrain my brain to think outward instead of inward. Um, but I found that there's a lot of people who do that too. Yeah, the resources, Fiona, for severe autism are extremely difficult to acquire or to even contact. Yeah, Fairy, the one that gets me is when people are like, "Oh, that's nothing. You should have seen blah, blah, blah." And that to me is more like one upsmanship. I get that a ton, by the way. It'll be like, I'll do the video with all the used adult diapers, and they're like, "That's nothing. You should have seen blah blah blah." And I'm like, I'm literally picking up human crap, so I don't want to hear it. Like I'm throwing raw human sewage into trash bags, so I'm fine with not knowing your your one upped thing that you clean. It's the same thing with like, hey, it was like 105 here today. They're like, down here it's 117. That's nothing. It was 117 down here. And it's like, man, after 100, it doesn't matter anymore. It's not like I'm going to say like, oh, 117. Well, crap, this is cool up here at a 105. I feel lucky to have lived in 105, having known that you're living in 117. Now that I have perspective, I can say that this is not hot at all. What's up, Beans? Come here. What's up, Sage? Beans! Look up at the camera. Look up here. Beans! Yeah, he's crawling all over me. He is a Maine Coon. Oh, God. I know. Come here. No, Beans, you love it. Come here. You love this. Yeah, there he is. What? What are you doing? Yeah, mine just lays around and purrs and is fat. The trick that I taught Beans is to be fat. What? What are you doing? No, so the tip of the ear is a thing that they do to feral cats. So when he was younger, he was feral, and what they do is the vet captures them, spays and neuters, and then gives them all their shots, and then they tip their ear and set them back into feral living, and that way they can go on and live and hunt and do the things that they normally do. But if any other cat capturer sees them out in the wild and their ears tipped, they know that they've gotten all their stuff. So they it doesn't hurt the cat. It's just like an ear piercing, and so that way they could live their normal lives and all that. But he ended up getting into like a garage, and they went ahead and adopted him and fostered him out into another group of cats that was in like this huge, um, it's like a huge shelter. And then people tried to adopt him for years, and they wouldn't let him because they were kind of crappy people. And then we came along and got him. Yeah, the reason they do that, the catch, neuter, and release thing, is there's no room for all the stray animals that are around our area. There's just no buildings to store them in, and so they end up. It's it's either that or they have to take them in and then put them down. And so rather than killing them, it's a way to keep them alive, but make sure that they don't increase the population and that they don't spread diseases. Otherwise, they end up taking them in and then they end up having to kill them. And Dakota's feeling better. She's a little lethargic, but she's doing okay. Thank you, Joy. What? What are you doing? What are you staring at? Don't you ever stare at me. You know my rule. There's no staring in this house. You don't look at things in this house. My dog's testing her ground, son. Thanks, Twiggy. Sneak vape. Tammy, at some point, Emily is wanting to start something. She just doesn't know what yet. She's a crafter and she's very good at what she does, but I don't know. I don't know what she's going to do to gain an audience because there's a lot of crafting channels out there. And she's also not good with schedules at all. We'll work for yarn for $5. Thank you so much. Phil finished up cleaning a house, and now he is at home. Lisa Ann, I'm very tired and very sore. I want to. I have to do a house on Friday because Jason needs the day off. But other than that, before I get to that house, I'm going to do a lot of resting, little social media to catch up, and I've got to figure out how to get a resale license in Illinois. It's really difficult because the government sites suck. It's like they were designed by an 8-year-old. And so I need to get a resale license so I can start selling the stuff that I use on an actual store. Because I want to be selling all the stuff you guys ask about, microfiber and ultrafine and the vacuums and all that stuff. I want to start selling it directly from us. Melissa, I vape because I was a smoker from age 13 until my mid 40s. And then vaping got me off of that finally. I am vaping Blueberry Steezy is the name of it. All all vape juice has the weirdest bro names. I don't know. I liked Kings of Leon when they first came out, but I got very quickly um I don't know, burnout on them. I can't say I'd pick them up and listen to them on purpose. Um Leashy, I don't know. Her videos, I think she needs to do more calm ASMR type videos because she does a lot of crochet. And so hers would be good if she maybe even didn't say anything and just crocheted and just chilled, um, with some soft music or some lo-fi or something. But Ashley, thank you. So happy I found your channel a few days ago. You helped me through cleaning my mother's hoard and mine, and you are amazing. Thank you. Vaping is not as hard to quit as smoking, but it's still hard to quit because it is nicotine. And you can get vape with no nicotine in them. And that's what I'm actually getting ready to switch to after I go through the vape juice that I've got now. Is I'm going to pull the nicotine out and just continue with the habit part of it, the physical habit. And if that, at that point, I could just cut it out. But Amberly, do not worry about the money. Thank you. It's a very kind thought, but it's definitely not necessary. Thank you. What's up, Beans? You better stop smelling that floor. You know my rule. We don't smell things in this house. Yeah, it's way cheaper than smoking. Way, way, way. I know hoarding is sometimes learned by the children of hoarders, but is it hereditary? It is. There is a genetic component to it. It doesn't mean that the children are guaranteed to be hoarders, but they're much, much, much more prone, and they have found an actual genetic link. Where's Frank? He is right down here behind my wife's crafting stuff. Let me poke, and then poke again, and then he's right behind that. Frankie, good kitty. And there's Beans, and there's Dakota. Yeah, the only one who's not is Dusty. And I don't know where he's at. Usually there's one who's kind of acting like a lookout cat while the other ones sleep. Oh. Yeah, the lemon hat's still there. The family likes the YouTube channel. Um, they think it's pretty cool. And we've been like recognized in public before, which is pretty neat. Drift, all my children are moved out. All right, guys, it's been about 2 hours and 15 minutes, and I'd like to stay longer, but my body really is sore. My neck and my back are just throbbing right now, so I'm going to have to get off of here and relax for a bit. Well, like I said, any of you, if you have a TikTok, I've got a link to that in my About section, and I will likely be on there a little bit later, just doing kind of a hangout and, you know, dumb BSing. So thank you for coming in. I really appreciate it. It's kind of cool. What we're doing is we're going to make an attempt to do one of these every Monday if possible. Um, so, and Mondays, I think Mondays about this time, I think is about the perfect time that we've learned because it's kind of a sweet spot between the UK or Europe and US. Then occasionally I will do really late night ones so we can catch people who are in Australia. But Mondays seem to be a pretty nice day to do them. All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next Monday. Later.